All right, we're in Algebra 1. This is lesson 4-7, slopes and equations in any form. Today's date is Tuesday, November 10th, 2020. Our objective today is to do what? Diego was first.
Find the slope from any form of equations and create a linear equation from a graph.
Yeah, so there's two parts for that. So the hardest part usually is finding slope when it's giving you a bunch of different forms. So if you have no idea where to start, if you want one rule to always follow, here's your one rule. When in doubt, convert to slope intercept form. Slope intercept form. That's the y equals mx plus b. Y equals, and I can zoom in here so you guys can actually see what I'm writing. Y equals mx plus b. Because a lot of these questions are, what is the slope of this line? What is the slope of this line? And if you're really looking ahead, you probably don't need to convert into slope intercept form. But if you have, if you're struggling, convert to slope intercept form, because when it's asking in question 1, what is the slope? If it's asking in question 2, what is the slope? Then you come back here and you say, oh, well, the slope is m. Getting a lot of lag on this computer. What application do I have open? Like nothing. I don't know. All right, so let's try an example. Example number 1. What is the slope of that line? 2x plus 3y is equal to 12. It's given in standard form, that form that we were just doing last night. I need to find slope. So if you already got it, that's awesome. I'm going to go through it step by step, converting this into slope intercept form for the rest of us. All right, so how do I get this into slope intercept form? How do I get all of the x's on the right-hand side and make sure that y is by itself? Giorgio, go for it.
Subtract 3 to 12, and then subtract 12 to the other side.
Oh yeah, so you're going to move the 3y on the right-hand side and the 12 on the left-hand side?
2x minus 12 is equal to 3y.
Got it. Okay, yeah, so Giorgio is deciding to do minus 12 on both sides. Minus 12. Yeah, what's up, Zeke? Oh, you're doing the next step maybe? And then after we do that, we get 2x plus 3y minus 12 is equal to nothing, because there's nothing on the right-hand side now. And Giorgio also said subtract 3y on both sides. So subtract 3y, I can do that in a separate color. And let me zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. Subtract 3y. I don't know why I'm getting such weird lag. 3y, subtract 3y. And then you get 2x minus 12 is equal to a negative 3y. All right, we're really, really close to slope intercept form. The only thing that we're missing is this y should be by itself. It should be isolated. There should be no coefficient out in front of it. Zeke?
What if you leave the y, add 3 to each side?
Add 3. So if we added 3, 3 isn't a like term, so we would just be doing plus 3 over here, and then we add 3 to the 12. It doesn't get rid of the 3. Right now, the negative 3 is multiplied by the y. What would we do, Zeke?
Divide negative 3 by each side.
Yeah, divide both sides by negative 3, which means essentially we're dividing each term by negative 3. Divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. And we have y isolated now. Y, what's going on here, computer? Y is on the right side by itself, and that's equal to something over here on the left. Can someone help me simplify on the left-hand side, please? Diego?
I'm not sure what 2 divided by 3 is, but...
Just leave it as 2 divided by 3.
Okay.
And we also have a negative out front, right? Because of the negative in the denominator.
So then the next one would be just 4, positive 4.
Plus 4. There it is. Nice. And then we have our answer. What is our answer, Jose?
Negative 2 x plus 4 equals y.
Yeah, so that's the equation, right? But the question was, what is the slope of this line? So now that we've written it in slope intercept form, what is the slope? It's just negative 2/3. The x isn't included in the slope. It's just the number. Yeah, slope is just a number. Nice. Yeah, so it's the negative 2/3. Everyone can circle that. We can also write it out in words if you want. Why am I having such weird lag? So the answer is negative 2/3. And we box it. All right, computer, wake up. All right. Let's try another one. Instead of giving you a problem in standard form, I'm going to give you a problem in point slope form. They might even give you a form that you've never even seen before, and it's just kind of random. So y minus 7 is equal to 3/4 x plus 9. This one is even easier because you can probably just tell what the slope is immediately if you remembered point slope form. Point slope form, one of those numbers is the slope. You can just say, there it is. You circle it and you're done. And if you have no idea what's going on, convert it to point or to slope intercept form. All right, so first, is there anyone that knows which of these numbers is slope just from remembering point slope form? One person knows. 2 people know, 3 people know. Alden?
It's 3/4x.
Yeah, so 3/4. And again, slope doesn't have the x in it, it's just 3/4. So yeah, 3/4 is a slope. Whenever you're given in point slope form, it's always the number that's outside of these parentheses that is the slope. So you can say over here, yeah, the slope. Come on, computer. Slope is 3/4. And again, I'll do the problem out kind of longer. What if you didn't know that? Then you just turn it into slope intercept form by distributing the 3/4 into these two terms. So, and this is where I'll get some help here. If I distribute the 3/4 into the x plus 9, what do I have? 3/4 times x is what? 3/4 times 9. What is that? There's ugly fractions that happen here. What is it, Jose? 12x? What is going on?
3/4 times 9 is 12.
Not quite, because 9 and 3 are both not divisible by 4. So you're just gonna have like a weird fraction here. But what about the x? What do I have for the x? Three-fourths x, perfect.
But can we multiply that number by 4 so it can be a whole number?
Which number? The 9?
No, the 3/4.
So 3/4 is being multiplied by x, and you just squish them together. You say it's 3/4 x, and then you also do 3/4 times 9. I guess I'm not understanding your question.
Okay, so we multiply 3/4 by 4, and then multiply negative 7 times 4, and then y times 4.
Okay, you're trying to get rid of the fraction by multiplying everything by 4. So yeah, you can do that, but the problem with doing that is I'm eventually going to have to divide by 4 at the very end because I need to get y by itself. So you're going to kind of be running in a circle there. You're doing extra work.
But wouldn't it be like a better thing to do?
Okay, yeah, we can try it. Yeah, so let's multiply everything by 4. And that will mean we'll have 4y minus 28 is equal to 3 times the quantity of x plus 9. We've gotten rid of the fraction by multiplying everything by 4. What do we do next?
It's 3x plus 37.
Okay. And then we'll add, right? Add 28 to both sides. What is that, Jose? 55, perfect. And then finally,
You subtract 3x on both sides.
not quite, because if you want it in slope intercept form, you just want to have y equals mx plus b, which means I need the y by itself. So how do I get the y by itself? Divide everything by 4, exactly. Nice, and then we have it, so divide by 4. divide by 4. I don't know what my computer does that. Divide by 4. And you get y. Y is equal to 3/4 x plus, and I'll just leave that as 55/4, which again, you find the slope is 3/4. Yeah, nice. Thank you. So hopefully everyone can see that it's a little bit easier if you can just identify what the slope is without having to do all the algebra. Yeah, Giorgio?
Yeah, isn't the slope just root of 4 on the top one?
Yeah, exactly. Like you can just circle it without doing any math, right? Yep. There is the shortcut. All right, and let's try a third one before we move to the backside. What is the slope of this line? And notice I haven't given you any particular form. It's just a random form. Doesn't even have a name. I need to find the slope of this line. Haiti?
2?
A good guess, yeah, because it's kind of like the form of last time. The problem is this left-hand side doesn't look like point slope form. So it's a good guess, but not quite. We have to do a little bit of algebra. We have to go ahead and distribute and then do some math. Yeah, Diego?
What I did is multiply 5 once distributed by to y and 3.
What'd you get?
5y plus 16.
Nice. Yep, you do have to distribute on the left-hand side. What about the right-hand side?
I did the same. 2 times 3x, we got 6x, and then minus 4, we got minus 8.
Perfect. Yeah. So you distributed the 5 on the left, you distributed the 2 on the right. And we're really close. We just need to do 2 more steps and then we'll have our answer. I've been calling on Jose and Diego a lot. I'll give you one more, Jose, and then I'll call on someone else from around.
Okay, the answer is y equals 6x divided by 5.
Yep, 6.
Minus 23 divided by 5.
6/5. Yeah, there it is. Do you want to tell us? So you have it correct. Is it okay if I call on someone else to see if we can get there? All right. How do we get there? What do we do next? How do we get y isolated? You can move on to the back side, Jose, if you'd like. Let's move everything over to the right-hand side and get y by itself. Let's pretend that we're solving for y. That's what it means to have slope intercept form. How do I solve for y? I have to either get rid of the 5 or the 15. What am I doing first? Use your rules of, the operations. Can't think. Sorry, Diego. I've been calling on you a lot. I need to get more people in here. I haven't heard very much from Ashley, Braden. Haiti can participate at the end too. Alden's participated just like once or twice. Carlos can participate too, but Carlos hasn't been here for a while, so it might be harder. I'm trying to isolate for y. What do I do? Zeke, go for it.
So because you want to keep the y on its own, you subtract 15 by both sides.
And what is our new
So
equation?
5y equals 6x would be negative 23, so minus 23.
Perfect. I'll give it the next step to someone else then. Yeah, thank you. Now I need to solve for y. What do I need to do to both sides? Sorry, Giorgio. It's going to be someone else. Yeah, Haiti. Yep, divide by 5. So let's do that. Divide every single term here by 5. And you get y is equal to what, Haiti? You can just leave it as fractions. In fact, I'm probably just going to rewrite that. Never mind. I'm just going to write 6/5 x minus 23/5. And then let's give it to either Ashley or Braden. What's our slope? Ashley? 6/5. There it is. When you have it in, Why, computer? When you have it in slope intercept form, slope is the coefficient of our x, 6/5. Nice. All right. How many people have I lost? Give me a fist of 5. Up to this point on these examples, what are we at? 3, 4, 4, 5, 4, 4, 3. Okay. We're moving on to the backside. We're moving on to the second part of the objective. Given any form of the 3 that I've shown you, how do you graph the line? So again, when in doubt, use, this one is a different form though. Whenever you need a graph, the easiest thing to graph is point slope form. If you really, really love slope intercept form, you can stick to that one. I personally believe that point slope form is the easiest, but it's just advice. You don't have to do this. Do whatever is easiest for you. Can anyone remind me what point slope form looks like? Jose? Kind of. Do you remember the general equation for it? Y minus something something? Okay. So in general, it's y minus some number, which is going to be the y coordinate. I'll call it y1, is equal to the slope. So a number here is slope times x minus the x coordinate. So I'll call that x1. And I know that we've talked about it over and over and over again in the past unit, in this unit, but the equation for slope. You guys are getting really good at slope equations now. It's a fraction. What fraction do you like to use? Braden, what's your favorite fraction for slope? Change of y over change of x. Oh, come on, computer. Keep up with me. Thank you. What's another equation that you like to use? Diego?
y2 minus 1y minus x2 over x2 minus x1.
Perfect. Any other that you like to use? Yeah, Brandon again. Rise or run. All of these are good. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to give you a graph. I think I messed up the instructions at the very beginning of this. I'm going to give you a graph, and you need to tell me what is the equation of the line. Every single graph, you will be able to find the slope by using your equation, and then just plug it into point slope form, and you're done. There's no extra finding the y-intercept. For example, if I look at the second graph over here, if I zoom in, if you look really closely to this graph, the y-intercept is really hard to find. I don't know, is it 1.5? Is it 1.6? 1.7? Is it 1 2/3? Is it 1.8? I don't know. And I don't care, because if you just use point slope form, this form that I just showed you up here, you don't have to worry about it. You just have to find the slope and then a point. You're done. So let's do this first graph. I need to find the equation that represents that line, no matter what, unless I'm given an x and a y coordinate and you're really tricky using standard form, you're going to need to find the slope. Let's first find the slope. Every single first step, and maybe I can write it over here. The first step should always be find slope. Oh no, because you didn't find the slope? Oh, the y-intercept was off? Okay. All right, what is the slope of this line? I see 2 lattice points. It gave me this point at 0,4 and this point at 5, -2. What is the slope? And if you don't know how to do that, make a triangle. My triangle looks like this, and then count the sides of the triangle. I count 1 square, 2 squares, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means my change in y was 6. I say maybe I went down 6. I went -6. And then how many did I go right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went 5 right. So what is the slope? Sorry, Jose. I've called on you way too much today. Ashley, yeah. There it is. Everyone write it down. Our slope, you can say either m, or if you don't like using m, you can just write the word slope. M is equal to -6 over 5. Okay, now just choose a point. Do you want this point up here at 0, 4, or do you want this point down here at 5, -2? Either point that you choose, just plug that in to your slope or your point slope form. I'll write out point slope form again so you can see what I'm about to do. My point slope form looks like this. Y minus box is equal to box times x minus box. What goes in those boxes? Well, the first box is the y coordinate, y1. The second box is the m, the slope. And the last box is your x coordinate. We already have the slope. The slope is -6/5. We can plug in -6/5 into our slope down here and say that is -6/5. Now I just need to choose a point and plug it in here, and I'm basically done. What point do you want to plug in? Someone help me. Braden? 0, 4. Okay, which one gets plugged in where? Does 0 go here, or does 0 go on the right? Not quite. So 0 is the x coordinate. Done. Type this into Khan Academy, you'll get the right answer. Y minus 4 is equal to -6/5 times the quantity of x, or just 6/5 x. I don't need to do x minus 0. That's kind of silly. So if I were to simplify this a little bit, I would say it's y minus 4 is equal to -6/5 x, because x minus 0 is just x. Done. Box it. Let's try another one. First step, find the slope. I guess I can write out the other 2 steps because there's not that many more. Second step, choose a point. And third step, plug into that form, which is y minus box is equal to box times x minus box. You have to plug it in correctly. This is the x coordinate, and that's the y coordinate, and that's the m. You can say y1, x1, so you don't get those confused. Those are your 3 steps over and over and over again for these types of problems. You'll always get them right. All right, I'm moving on to the second of these examples. You need to find slope. Notice that there are multiple lattice points that you can choose. There are obviously the lattice points that it gives you at 3, 4, and at -5, -2. There's also this lattice point at -1, -1. Find the slope. Plug it in a point slope form. Write out your equation, and then you can move on to the homework on Khan Academy. I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording, and I'm going to come around and help you guys individually. All right, so it looks like the majority of us used these 2 lattice points to make our triangle. So we had our triangle that looked like that. Looked like a lot of people counted this correctly. Most people went down 6 here, so -6, and then left 8. If you go left 8, make sure you do a -8, which means our slope down here, our m, come on computer, m is equal to -6 over -8. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, so you can have a positive 6/8, and then you can divide the top and bottom by 2 to reduce. Divide by 2, divide by 2, and you get your actual slope, which should be, for everyone, 3/4. From there, it's a matter of just picking a point. I'm going to pick this point up here because it's a +4 and a +3. I don't have to worry about double negatives. When I plug that in, I get y minus the y coordinate is 4, is equal to the slope that I just found, 3/4. And then in parentheses, x minus the x coordinate up here is 3. So that's x minus 3. Type that into Khan Academy and you will get it correct.
This is no.
Yes.
I ended up choosing, so it doesn't matter what point you choose, any of them can work. Right?
Any of them work? Yeah.
So I chose the bottom most point, right?
Yep.
And I got y plus 2 equals 3 over 4 x minus 5. Would that work?
X, it should be x plus 5 because you'll have a double negative for the 5. You got the double negative for the y, but you didn't get the double negative for the x.
All right.
Yeah, good job. All right. Any other questions for this lesson? All right. Can you guys give me a fist of 5? Our objective was to find a slope in any form of an equation, and then also, given a graph, create a linear equation. I'm going to 4 from Ashley, 5, 4, 4, 4, 3, 4, 5 maybe. And what do you got, Diego? 4. All right. Thank you.